The heart's hidden brain. Long before you learned to read a book, you learned to read a heartbeat. In the womb, before your eyes could see or your ears could make sense of sound, you felt the rhythm of another heart beating beside your own. It was your first language. Your first clock. Your first connection to life. We think of the heart as a pump, a mechanical muscle moving blood through the body. And it is. But that is not all it is. The heart is also a brain. A brain that thinks in rhythm, that remembers in feeling, that speaks in a language older than words. Science now confirms what ancient traditions have whispered for thousands of years: the heart has its own nervous system. More than 40,000 specialized neurons are woven through its tissue, enough to sense, enough to process, enough to send signals not just to the body, but to the brain in your head. This heart brain doesn't think in sentences. It thinks in pulses. It thinks in coherence. It thinks in the harmony or disharmony of its beat. And here is the part that changes everything. Most of the communication between heart and head does not flow downward from the brain. It flows upward. The heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Your heart influences your emotions, your perceptions, your decisions, often before your mind is even aware of them. This is why your chest tightens before your thoughts catch up to fear. Why your heart lifts in joy before your brain names the reason. The heart knows first. The head follows. Ancient cultures saw the heart as the seat of the soul. Egyptians preserved the heart in sacred jars for the afterlife, believing it would be weighed against a feather to judge a soul's truth. In Chinese medicine, the heart is called the emperor of the body, the ruler whose clarity and stability govern the health of all systems. In many indigenous traditions, the heart is the center of knowing, the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. These weren't poetic guesses. They were observations from people who listened closely to what the body was already saying. The heart's intelligence is not logical in the way we usually think. It is intuitive. It senses patterns of safety and danger. It recognizes truth through resonance. It feels the emotional weight of a choice before the mind can calculate the outcome. This is why we say follow your heart. We know, deep down, that there is a wisdom in the chest that cannot be measured in pure logic. The heart also radiates an electromagnetic field, the largest of any organ in the body. This field can be measured several feet outside of you, and it changes with your emotional state. When you are in fear or frustration, the pattern of your heartbeat becomes jagged, erratic. When you are in gratitude, love, or compassion, your heartbeat becomes smooth, ordered, coherent. And here's where it becomes even more extraordinary: this coherent rhythm can influence others. Just as you can feel tension in a room without anyone speaking, you can also feel calm in the presence of someone whose heart is steady and open. We are not isolated. Our hearts are in constant silent conversation. The hidden brain in your chest is also a memory keeper. It holds the imprint of experiences not as images, but as feelings. A song from childhood may cause your heart to swell, even if you cannot recall the exact memory. A certain place may make your chest ache, even if your mind doesn't know why. The heart remembers in sensation, in expansion and contraction, in the way it opens or closes to life. So how do we listen to this intelligence? How do we tune into the heart's brain instead of being ruled by the head's noise? It begins with stillness. With dropping your awareness from the mind down into the chest. Place a hand over your heart. Breathe slowly. Notice its rhythm. Notice the space around it. Ask a question, and wait, not for words, but for a feeling. Does your chest feel lighter? Or heavier? Does it expand? Or tighten? Does your breath deepen? Or shorten? This is the language of the heart. It speaks in openness and resistance, in warmth and constriction. When you begin to live in conversation with your heart, life changes. Decisions become clearer. Relationships deepen. Stress softens. Because the heart doesn't only tell you what you want, it tells you what you truly need. It guides you not toward what is easiest, but toward what will bring coherence between mind, body, and spirit. The hidden brain in the heart is also a bridge. A bridge between the physical and the emotional, between the human and the divine. When you feel awe, standing beneath a vast night sky, hearing a piece of music that moves you to tears, your heart enters a state of harmony that opens you to the greater field of life. This is why spiritual practices across the world place the hands in prayer over the chest. It is a gesture of aligning the mind with the heart, of reminding the head who the true ruler is. Modern science is beginning to catch up. Studies on heart-brain coherence show that when you intentionally generate feelings like gratitude, love, or compassion, your heart rhythm shifts into a smooth pattern. This coherent state not only calms your mind, it also boosts immunity, balances hormones, and improves cognitive function. Your head thinks more clearly when your heart is at peace. But here is the part we often forget: the heart cannot be forced into coherence. You cannot trick it with empty words. It responds to sincerity, to truth, to moments when your values and your actions are in alignment. This is the deepest intelligence of the heart's hidden brain. It knows when you are lying to yourself. It knows when you are living out of step with who you really are. And it will tell you, not with judgment, but with a gentle ache, a sense of heaviness, a quiet whisper to return. If you want to awaken the heart's brain, practice presence. Practice gratitude, not as a list, but as a feeling you invite into your chest. Practice compassion, not as pity, but as the recognition that we are all wired for connection. And listen. Listen when your heart says rest. Listen when it says speak. Listen when it says this is not for you or this is where you belong. The mind may argue. The heart will not. It simply knows. Every beat of your heart is sending signals not just through your body, but into the field around you. You are constantly shaping the atmosphere you live in. You are constantly in silent dialogue with the world. When your heart is steady and open, that dialogue changes. It becomes a conversation of trust, of safety, of connection. This is the power of the heart's hidden brain, not just to guide your own life, but to bring coherence to the lives around you. So, the next time you feel lost in thought, caught in loops of analysis and doubt, remember, there is another brain you can consult. One that speaks in rhythm instead of reason. One that has been with you since before you were born. Close your eyes. Drop into your chest. Feel the pulse. And ask. Then, be quiet enough to hear the answer. Because your heart knows. It has always known. And it will guide you home.